Okay, we're going to try this one more time. Monday, unprecedented. This is an unprecedented broadcast right here. This does not normally happen. Normally, I only broadcast on Saturdays. The way that John Goodman only bowls. What does he say? I don't bowl on. Oh no, he doesn't bowl on the Sabbath. That's what I'm thinking. John Goodman in The Big Lebowski does not bowl on the Sabbath. Well, tonight is a bit of a different night, so I'm going to do it. Okay. See, I felt, hey Russell, what's going on? Yeah, I felt really, really bad about how my last attempt to broadcast went. It was just so bad. It was so bad. I was so bothered by it. I just kept thinking it was itching at me. I was itching, going, you can do better than that. And so I was like, I'm going to try and do this one more time. I've been so busy, unbelievably busy. You don't know how busy I've been working on this, slaving. I'm slaving away on this video. 1979, a year of horror business. It's approaching 2.5 hours long, 2.5 hours in length. By the way, you'll notice my hat actually says Danzig lives. One of a kind, this hat. Why does my hat say Danzig lives? Exclamation point. Well, it's an inside joke that I actually forgot. I don't remember why I had that embroidered on a hat, but I did. And I've had this hat for 12 years. So people do weird shit. I do weird shit. I'm a weirdo, in case you couldn't tell. But yeah, I was feeling really lousy about how I ended that last broadcast. My Wi-Fi was shitty. I kept seeing the screen right here was going black. It kept going staticky to black. So I was like, you know what? Tonight, I just finished a killer editing session. I'm going to try and go live and do what I attempted to do on Saturday. But I'm going to be a little less. I'm not going to try and wing it as bad. Well, we'll just go. We'll just see what happens. So we live in this new age now. Pre-2016, if you were a fan of the Misfits, there were things in life that were impossible, right? Like you could look at anything in life and be like, yeah, it's just not possible. That's not possible. This is not possible. And it's like you can look at a challenge or a barrier and just go, there's no way around this. It will never happen. And that would all change. That would all change in the year 2016 because we would witness the impossible happen. Green hell froze over, and Jerry and Glenn were able to see past their differences enough to a point where they were actually able to share a stage together. Who would have thought? So now think about that. So now it's 4 years later, right? 4 years have passed. There are kids that have gotten into the Misfits in those 4 years. So you have, like, let's say you have 12-year-olds, you have 10-year-olds, you have 9-year-olds who in 2016 were like, oh, there's this band, the Misfits. They're cool. Skulls. Hack the heads off little girls and put them on my wall. They're just discovering this band. They're going, and then all of a sudden, they look online, they look on Facebook, they look on whatever, they go, whoa, they're playing again. They've reunited. This band that I've just discovered is reuniting. Yeah, this is so great. Cool. And the rest of us pre-2016 are just like, fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. Rena says, I don't know what you're talking about at all, but you're so perfect at this. Rena, thank you so much. I'm trying. I just felt like I had done a bad broadcast, and I'm just sort of like, I just needed to give it another shot. So I'm taking another crack at it. Thanks, Rena, for the encouragement. I appreciate you. So here we are, all us fans, going back, some of us going back as far as 40 years. If you're counting the OGs, you know what I'm saying? Like, look at a guy like Steve Zing, who's literally been a fan of that band since he was 12 years old in 1978. You know what I mean? Like, Like that dude has seen it all, in terms of this band. And his last show was Great Gildersleeves in 1983. And so it's like he had to wait 30, something years, 30, what was it, 33 years or whatever. But you know what, Nathan? All you got to do is just buy collection 1 or collection 2 and just throw it on, and you'll have a great time. Don't bother with those Michael Graves albums in the 90s, especially as of recent. So my point, sorry, I'm getting like lost here. My point is just that you have these like fans that like they just like, it's like they just get into the band. They're loving this, and all of a sudden maybe you became a fan in 2015. Maybe you're going to see the Jerry Fits in 2014. You're like, yeah, Jerry only, Jerry other, the GOAT. This is great, and listen, if you're a fan of the Devil's Reign, then more power to you, man. Like, again, like if that was called like the Jerry Only Band or Jerry and the Only Ones or something, would be like the best. I think, just a quick sidebar, I like the Devil's Reign. I do, but I don't like it as a Misfits album. Don't call it a Misfits album. Call it a Jerry Only album. I see it as a Jerry Only album and I go, great, Jerry, this is great. I'm so glad that you're like making this music. It's phenomenal. But when you add the name The Misfits, all of a sudden it gets thrown into the ring with everything else. It gets thrown into, of course, it's going to be compared to the Misfits, even if it's just Jerry Only, in the same way that Doyle's band might get compared to the Misfits, even though that doesn't really happen. Point is that when you add the name, you suddenly, it suddenly becomes open to comparing it to other stuff. Right. Whatever. In any case, so maybe you get into the Devil's Reign, and then 2 years later, you're like, what? This Glenn Danzig's back. It's like this insane notion. This insane notion occurred. Like, and by the way, this is all preamble for what I'm about to discuss here, which, yeah, it's a kind of fodder. It's a little bit of a filler show. But like I said, I've been broadcasting every week. I was super bummed that I just like shit the bed on the last broadcast. I had to do better. So we're gonna discuss something. I'll probably gonna get very passionate about it as I continue to talk about it. In any case, all of a sudden the announcement goes out. I remember right before the announcement, I put on Static Age. I put my Static Age vinyl onto my record player, and I played Come Back. That's what I did, man. I straight up did that like a week or two before the announcement, when there were like rumblings, when that, Riot Fest put out like a trailer video. Right. And so I put that on, and it was like my attempt at like voodoo to like invoke like the Misfits, come back to us, and they came back. Damien says, so it was a disingenuous suckfest. That's what I expected. Damien, what are you talking about? What is a disingenuous suckfest? I'm not sure what you're saying. You got to clarify, guy. You got to clarify, guy. So they come back, man. They actually fucking come back after 33 years. And here is what I say. And I wrote this in a later article that we'll probably cover on another episode. This was what I wrote at that time. I said, anything in life is possible. Any reunion in life is possible, as long as everybody's still alive, of course, because Glenn and Jerry managed to not only come to an agreement in the same room, they shook hands on it after everything that's happened, and they shared a stage for the first time in 33 years. Mind blown. There are Misfits fans that have died. They shuffled loose this mortal coil. They will never know what we know. We're so lucky. We're the luckiest motherfuckers. If you are a fanatical fan of this band, we are the luckiest motherfuckers in the world that we got to see that shit happen. And if you have yet to have seen that shit happen, if you have avoided, how many times have they played now? 14 times. If you have avoided every single time, and look, maybe money's an issue. Like, I get that, especially now. Point is that like, by hook or crook, you should fucking find a way into one of these shows. And if you haven't yet, like, what the hell are you waiting for? Because there are so many reasons and ways and pitfalls that there will never be another Misfits AD. I call them the Misfits AD, because that's what they started a new company or a new brand, and it was called Misfits AD. And I think of the Misfits AD as Misfits after Denver, because Denver was the first time that they played together. Brandon Yeti says Marky Ramone shit all over the devil. Marky Ramone shit all over the devil's rain when I talk to him. Marky Ramone shit all over the devil's rain when I talk to him. Brendan, I'm not surprised. Marky is an interesting cat, and he has very interesting views about his tenure in whatever incarnation is, being passed along as that band, and, all sorts of stuff. Marky's often said, I have video. He came to Hartsdale, which is the town over, to Chef Central because he was doing his Marky Ramone's pasta sauce. And, I interviewed him actually for this documentary. There is a soundbite. There's a Marky Ramone soundbite that will be in this documentary. That is, They Came from Lodi. And I interviewed him for about 6 minutes. But someone asked him a question during the Q&A. They were asking him about, playing with the Misfits. And he was very quick to clarify. He went, I didn't play with the Misfits. The Misfits played with me. That's my really bad Marky Ramone impression. And that's kind of how that dude viewed that whole scenario, was that that Jerry and Des were playing with him. And whatever. Listen, again, that album, Project 1950, whatever, like, this is going to sound controversial. It's not a bad album. It's fun. It's fun music. Is it the Misfits? No, it's not. It's Jerry. It's just Jerry, man. That's how you have to think about this shit. Fuck the name. Like dissolve the name and just think about it as like, just Jerry only, the Jerry only band, or the Jerry and the Only Ones. That's what I do, man. That makes it so much easier. That makes it easier for me. In any case, so the impossible is possible. And it's funny because Guns N' Roses reunited right after that, and I guess I don't know if there's any other. Are there any other big rock and roll reunions out? Oh shit, this happened again. Trying to think. I'm trying to think of like a big rock and roll reunion that hasn't happened yet. In any case, the point is that when Guns N' Roses reunited, it was just like, okay, that's cute. There was a meme going around of Doyle going to be like, that's cute, like that the Guns N' Roses reunite. Who cares, man? The Misfits reuniting is the single greatest rock and roll reunion of all time. It will go down in history as the greatest reunion of all time. There is no bigger rift between a band. There's no band. There's no band with more bad blood than those dudes. Peter says Black Sabbath. Dude, Black Sabbath is reunited in 1998, and they've reunited a whole bunch of times without Bill Ward. I know people will say, oh, Bill Ward, without Bill Ward, it's not Black Sabbath. I mean, fine. I'm not like, dude, here's another controversial statement. Ready for this one? I prefer fucking Black Sabbath with fucking Ronnie James Dio. How about that? Yes, you heard correctly. I think Ronnie James Dio is a better vocalist. He sings those Ozzy Black Sabbath songs way better than Ozzy can. And just the way that he vocalizes. And I love that eventually they're like, we're not even going to be Black Sabbath anymore. We're going to call ourselves Heaven and Hell. Like, I have so much respect. Like, I love that. I fucking love that. But Black Sabbath was never a sacred cow to me in any way, shape, or form. And therefore, like, the fact that, let alone that Bill Ward is not there, who cares, man? Like, friggin', I don't even want Ozzy there. I'd rather have Ronnie James Dio. Nate says Guns N' Roses will never reunite. Nathan, I got news for you, buddy. Guns N' Roses reunited 4 years ago or some shit. They reunited a long ass time ago. But yeah, like, if you want to really enjoy some Black Sabbath, find that show live at the Hammersmith. I think it is. It's on the bonus. It's a bonus disc for Mob Rules, right? Whichever. Yeah, that the second Dio Sabbath album. And there's a version of Neon Nights on there that smokes anything that Ozzy ever did with that band. I mean, they are so hot. That band is so tight. I think it's Vinny or Carmine Apris, whatever the fuck his name is on the drums, and he is so fucking tight. They are the tightest band, and when they do Neon Nights, that shit melts my face off, man. Those guys are fucking great. Point is that that's not as epic as fucking Jerry and Doyle sharing a stage together, and then to fucking see it, it's like face. And again, I'm leading up to the meat of this filler episode that this is just a filler. This is a runoff episode, right? In anticipation for the big, juicy, chunky episode that I have coming. Which, by the way, you are only going to be able, I think I'm going to only premiere that in the Facebook group first. So it'll eventually be publicly broadcast on Facebook Live. But if you're not in the They Came From Lodi Facebook group, get in that shit. It's fucking important. Curtis says GNR reunited right around the time that Axl sang for AC/DC. That's right. And then Axl sings for AC/DC. Talk about a band that like fucking shit the bed when it came to like, staggering on, again, I have great respect for AC/DC, but I feel like they should have hung it up a long time ago. They should have hung it up when Malcolm got sandbagged. They lost Malcolm, they lost Phil, they lost the guy with the hat, the cabbie hat. What's his name? Brian something, Brian Johnson, I think. I don't know. The Back in Black guy who, and that's funny because he's the third singer of AC/DC. So that just goes to show you that a frontman, lead singer, songwriter can leave and the band can still be valid without them, to counter the idea of the Misfits continuing on as a Christian metal band without Glenn Danzig. Like you can exist. You can exist. The Ramones are another great example of that. We've talked about this, how a huge chunk of the band, the singer, songwriter, founder, Dee Ramone, leaves the band. The band is still a valid entity because the founder guitar player is still there and the frontman, singer, songwriter is still there. And as long as you have those two elements, the Ramones still feel valid as a group. Brandon says, honestly, I had more fun at the Danzig Legacy Tour when Doyle was there. Brandon, that's something to be said too. Let's talk about that for a minute. Those Legacy shows were epic. I went to the Chicago one and I went to the New York one, the New York City one, and they were unfucking believable. Danzig and Doyle were fucking great. It was amazing to see Samhain. It was amazing to see a Danzig set. It was just as exciting in many ways. Maybe it wasn't as exciting, but it was pretty darn exciting. It was phenomenal. Up until that point, I wasn't lacking. Like I wasn't lacking being like, I've never seen the Misfits live. Like having Danzig and Doyle do that Misfits set was good enough, man. That's all I needed. That hit every note. It just there's something. It's like by having Doyle there, he's acknowledging his past, and by singing the songs, he's validating this band that like he had put behind him. That like he didn't want. It was like, oh, nothing can be. We can't talk about the Misfits anymore. So yeah. So the Legacy shows were incredible in their own way. But so was seeing the Misfits. So it's like, fuck, they're going to play Denver. Holy fucking shit. Now, some of you know, and I've talked about it here at great length. I did a show. If you can't find it, seek it out. It's called the Misfits It's called Evil Lives, the Misfits AD. And what this is a concert film. It's a bootleg concert film. I use the awful B word. It is a crowdsourced concert film taken, cell phone footage taken from the audience that I sunk up 144 clips, edited them together, and made a concert film. And it starts off with a 15-minute prelude about how the Misfits are never going to reunite, just to make it all the sweeter when they actually do reunite right before your eyes for this show. It's 90 minutes long. Seek it out if you can find it. There's a special surprise at the end for They Came From Lodi, which is the documentary that I've been toiling away on for years and years and years, which is the source of this page and the source of this content in the first place. So the night of, obviously I couldn't make it out to the Riot Fest in Denver. I went to Chicago. That was the show. I put my pony on. And here's the thing. I know this is retread. This is like we're starting to the snake is starting to eat its own tail here because we're going over shit that we have already talked about. Between those two Riot Fest shows, you didn't know if the band was going to break up. You know what I'm saying? You didn't even know if they were going to make it to Denver because Glenn and Jerry, and they've tried to reunite in the past and it didn't happen. Glenn and Jerry are so there's so much animosity between them. Yes, Curtis, it's an amazing video. Seek it out. It's great. It was a challenge to do that. I was just kind of like, can I sync up all these clips and turn it into an actual concert film? And it worked. And what I really like about it is the fact that you feel like you're in the show. The footage is shaky, but it's a nice aesthetic because it makes you feel like you're at the concert. It's one of the only times where I think shaky cell phone footage from an audience actually was beneficial, outside of the fact that I feel the need to record this shit. I can't stand that. I can't stand it when people do that stuff. So it's like we didn't even know if they were gonna fucking do it. We didn't even know if it was gonna go down. What if they might have gotten into a big fight right before they went on in Denver? You know what I mean? Like, who knew what was going to happen? They might have gotten on the stage and sucked so much ass that they were like, we're not even going to do Chicago. Well, they would have to, because they were probably contracted to. I know they were contracted to. You know what I'm saying? So it's like we didn't know. We didn't know what the fuck was going to happen, man. Like anything could have happened. And then you have these heroes. And what they do is they took their cell phones and probably much to Uncle Glenn and Jerry's distaste, they broadcasted the show live on Facebook as it was happening. And there is video of me. My wife took video of me sitting with my laptop in front of me, drooling over the screen as I watch the Misfits play. For the first time in 33 years, monsters waking up from the depths, strapping on their guitars and making noise once more. And it looked like nothing. You could hear it, but the video was so small. It was like, it looked, you know what it looked like? It looked like someone took a really big fat jumbo firework that they had procured and put it in the middle of the street and then lit it on fire. And you had all these, and that's what the light show was. It was just like, and they had a second guitarist, this guy, AC Slade, who was great. He's in the pocket. That's what he's doing. He's just sitting in the pocket, thickening up the sound. I think it's well known at this point that Danzig does not like Doyle's guitar sound at all. He hates it. And that's why he wants that second guitarist there, because he can't follow when Doyle plays. He can't follow. He can't hear. He needs a different channel. And so I don't even think Doyle is in his monitor that much. And maybe he is somewhat, but Danzig is going along to AC in the back. He's not really connected to what Doyle is doing, playing. So they got this guy AC and he's in the pocket. And then you got Dave Lombardo. And again, Dave Lombardo is like a blue chip drummer, right? Like, he is phenomenal, like no bones about it. However, as Bevan Davies eloquently stated for me, he plays like a machine. He plays it too straight. He's doing all these blast beats and I don't know. It's just not, it's not sloppy. And that's part of like what makes the Misfits. That's why the songs never sound just right. They don't. They sound amazing. They sound great. But the drumming sounds, it needs to sound like a train, like out of control, but still just barely on the tracks. You know what I mean? Like just completely like going haywire. And that's not what Dave Lombardo is doing. He's just playing he's too in the pocket, that we need, as I talk about in this video that you're going to see, we need sloppy grace. We need sloppy grace, and we don't get it from Dave Lombardo. So, but I'm watching my screen, like real close like this, and I'm going, holy fuck, the Misfits are playing. And so there's this video, and maybe I'll post it. If I can find it, I will post it on the They Came From Lodi page. It's somewhere in my archives, of me sitting there like a giddy little school child, just watching this thing. For me, my Misfits, my love of the Misfits starts in 2001 at the age of 15, right? That's when I first fell in love with the band. So it's like, even by some fan standards, they'd be like, "What? You didn't even see them in the 90s, like, or what? Like, you didn't skateboard to them in the late 80s?" Like, I'm green. I'm green behind the ears in my own way. Although, I've been listening to the Misfits for 19 years now. So it's like, you know, but still, it's like I'm seeing this thing that like I never thought I would see live. I'm seeing it through the computer. You know what I mean? And it's blowing my fucking mind. My mind is blown, as all of our minds were blown. I'm not the only one. We were all there. We all witnessed it. We witnessed this thing because there were these heroes whose their arms were breaking off because they're holding out their phones, trying to keep it together as they're streaming this stuff. Peter says Dave Lombardo plays the Earth AD songs pretty well. He plays all the songs pretty well. That is not my gripe, and it's not even a gripe. It's just it's an observation that there's something about the way that Robo and Googie play in particular, and I guess you could say maybe even Todd Swallow to an extent. Just there's this more organic, element to the way that these guys play. If anybody's a machine, truly a machine, it's Mr. Jim. Mr. Jim. Russell says Dave Lumrobo. Yeah. That doesn't really roll off the tongue that well, Russell, but I get the sentiment is there and it's nice. There's something about the way that Mr. Jim plays that feels like also like a machine. Mr. Jim is like a Terminator on those Static Age songs. He's just like with those fills and that just like constantly driving it. And so that ends. And I of course, even before Denver starts, I bought tickets. I bought a ticket to Riot Fest. It was $150. And I bought a plane ticket for $150. And I crashed on a friend's couch. I used to live in Chicago for 3 years. And so I had some roots there, and I was able to, love that Jim hi-hats. That's Russell says, I love that Jim. Mr. Jim, I'm going to call you Jimmy hi-hats from now on. That's my new nickname for you. I almost saw Mr. Jim. I was going to go down to Florida, and I had reached out to him because I hadn't seen him in years. I was going to be like, hey man, come on down. I was doing this shoot. It never went down. And hopefully I do get down there someday and I will see Mr. Jim again. So fuck, I lost my place. I got hit a pothole. Oh yeah. Now I remember. So I buy a ticket, right? I buy the Riot Fest ticket, $150. I buy the airplane ticket, $150. People are laughing at me. I'm getting text messages from friends going, "You're an idiot for spending so much money on this nonsense." $300 is what I spent. But not only did I get to see the Misfits, I got to see the Descendants. I got to see Rob Zombie, who I didn't really care to see. I got to see the Deftones, who I didn't really care to see. I got to see what's that band? Not AFI. What's that other band? Nick 13. What's his band's name? Tiger Army. I saw Tiger Army. Didn't really care to see Tiger Army, but I saw them. Saw the Hives, who are a fucking phenomenal band. If you've never seen the Hives, we have the Hives. They were fucking great. I saw Social Distortion, which I did not care. And I bumped into friggin' my friend Paul friggin' K, Pat Clune, my friend Paul Klein. That's right. Sorry, I was like spacing on your name. I've seen Pat Clune for so long that I forgot Paul Klein's real name. Paul Klein, the guy from Mr. Monster and Gotham Road and Blitz Kid and all those bands. I bumped into him. It was nice to see him during Social Distortion. So, $300. And then to sum it all up with the Misfits. And then dude, tickets for the floor at every Misfit show since have been $300. So all those people that were laughing in my face, because in my mind, I'm going, look, this is my favorite band of all fucking time playing. Like it wasn't even an option. Like, of course I was going to pay $150 for that Riot Fest ticket. The sheer value. I saw D. Snyder do We're Not Gonna Take It, on stage. That was fun. You know what I mean? I saw so much. I saw so many people. It was an amazing trip. And I got to visit with old friends because I used to live there. It was worth it. And so on my way to the show of my friend Kieran, I believe it was Kieran. Yeah, it was Kieran, who writes for That's Not Current.com. Check it out. Speaking of which, before we begin our next segment, I'm just going to take a quick moment to tell you, I made a tip cup, but I'm not going to use it now. Just go to Frumess.com real quick and click on some of those ads. The ad space, blah, 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 ad space, my whole ad space spiel. Oh, here it is, actually. Here it is, man. Or if you want, if you believe me, after next week, you'll want to buy me a cup of coffee. If you feel like buying me a cup of coffee, feel free. You can do it right here. I'm putting that link. That's the first time I'm putting that link in the description. So anyway, so Kieran says to me, hey, do you want to write about the Misfits show? I write for Kieran sometimes. I write articles. And since I've started writing on my own blog, right? So I have like a blog on Frumess.com, click on Frumess.com, click on the AdSense, get me some pennies, guys. So I was like, yeah, Kieran, I'll write about this show. So I did. And so that's what I'm about to read to you right now. Not read to you, but we're going to just sort of go over it real quick. Short episode tonight, very short episode. Again, just to make up for the shit show that was this Saturday. Inexcusable, Jeff. Inexcusable. I don't care if it's 2 people or 10 people. At the end of the day, this gets archived on YouTube. That's what that's all about. I'm not really doing this for here. It's more about to keep it on my YouTube channel. But I just was I would be so remiss not to attempt a show that I had to go one more time. So here it is. This is my account of the Riot Fest Chicago show. And what's great is, again, I kind of talk in the first person here. It's like a first person account. It's very gonzo. If you're familiar with not gonzo porn, I mean gonzo like Hunter S. Thompson. It's a style of writing where the writer inserts themselves into the subject matter, which is kind of like what I do with this content that you're watching. Everything I do is gonzo. I used to have a thing, my label before it was Video Business Media. I tried to do gonzo something. I forgot what it was. Point is that that's how I connect with the art. I immerse myself in it. I try to talk from a firsthand perspective. So that's what we're about to read right now. After I take a sip of this seltzer. This episode is brought to you by Pineapple Bubbly Seltzer, made by Pepsi. I'm a huge seltzer aficionado. Okay, let's talk about this. This piece is called Requiem for a Fiend, the Misfits reunion at Riot Fest Chicago, September 18th, 2016. Remember, there are some kids out there that got into the Misfits in 2017. There are some kids out there that got into the Misfits in 2018, which brings me back to my original point, in that there are kids that never know the pain that we experienced as diehard fiends, wishing and wanting and theorizing and nerding out. Go to Misfit Central and the forums. All of us, we used to all sit and pore over it and over and over again. The same shit, Raimi and fucking Kelly Carcinogen and Mike something and Rick. It was Rick, not Raikou. Kyle, Ken, all these people, Danzig, just all these people. We talk over and over the same thing. What if Glenn and Jerry got back together? And then you have these fucking people. They've been listening to the Misfits for 2 years, and they're like, "Oh, I'm going to go see the Misfits at Madison Square Garden." You didn't earn it, motherfuckers. You didn't earn it. We earned it. Sorry, that was super ageist. I am so sorry, especially as a dude who was not around back then, who always has to hear from old timers who's like, you weren't even around back then. So fuck me for even talking like that. I apologize. All right, let's enough bric-a-brac. Let's talk about this. Okay. September 18th, 2016, Douglas Park, Chicago. It is the third and final day. Everything up until this point is nothing more than an appetizer, a bonus for the reason I am even at Riot Fest in the first place. It is hot and everyone is wearing black. Not me, though. I would rather be comfortable. And that's true. I'm all about fashion over. I'm all about comfort over fashion. And I saw so many motherfuckers. You always see it at Misfits shows, at any punk show. You see these dudes in their leather. You know, again, I got a leather too. The leather is the heritage, man. I get it. You know, it's like you want to just proudly display your punk heritage. Look at me. I'm part of the tribe. I'm wearing my leather. But it's like, bro, it's super hot. It's super hot outside. The sun is shining down. Why are you going to wear a leather jacket right now? Like, what's the point? Why would you do that to yourself? You know, so I just thought that was so funny, just seeing, and you see it at a lot of shows. You know, you see these guys. It's like a machismo thing. Like, I got to show you how macho I am, that I can keep my leather jacket on this whole time. You know, I can stay nice and, you know, strong. Blah 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 blah. I had never seen so many Misfit shirts and tattoos in my life. That's true. Sitting in the grass by the guest press entrance, I suffer through my first exposure to the Deftones. Sorry to say, it is not my cup of tea, but their large draw at Riot Stage would probably disagree. How many of them are here to see the Misfits? Probably all. And yeah, I was just not digging. I was not digging the Deftones set. It was whatever to me. I just sat through. I was like, cool. I've experienced the Deftones. Oh, I saw Bad Religion for the second time as well, so that was good. So I saw a lot of bands, man, for $150. I mean, it was pretty good. I saw Morrissey, which was kind of whatever. So yeah. The sun sets as I hydrate and eat. Energy is needed, and I try to rest my feet because I know what is coming. My voice is raw and hoarse already. I may be getting sick, so I speak sparingly. It worries me that I may not be able to sing along, and that was a deep fear for me. I was so afraid, as I'm sure many of you have been afraid. I was afraid that I was not going to be able to truly, fully represent the way that I would need to represent at this show, because that was super important. In the same way that I'm not wearing my leather, but damn straight I'm going to sing every syllable of every word to these songs, so that I could properly represent my love that I have for this band. A vow is made. No matter how great the temptation is, I will not take any pictures or video with my phone. The show must only be seen through my eyeballs. I will let everyone else take pictures and video for me. And that's something that I try and carry in general when I go to shows. I try my best. Here's what I'll do. Typically what I'll do. The Misfits was an exception where I did not do that at all. What I'll do when I go to a show is I'll wait until there's a song. Maybe there's a song that I don't like. Maybe there's a new material that I'm not familiar with. Maybe whatever it may be, I wait for that moment. Or maybe it's right in between the set. And what I will do is I'll either take a minute for Instagram of the stage banter, because I find what do I need a shitty picture of a band? There's a million shitty pictures of bands taken from phones. What's far more valuable to me as a music goer is to hear the stage banter, to hear the everybody talking between themselves on stage, between the songs. You know, it's like, what do I need another version of Vamos from the Pixies? I'd rather hear, well, the Pixies don't talk in between their sets, but like, you know, Jack Grisham from TSOL is a stand-up comic in between his sets. You know what I mean? Just stuff like that. Like, you know, I just want to hear that. That's what's memorable. That's a memory I want to keep of the show, not just some picture. So what I'll do is I'll squeeze off a couple shots and I'll take some video, and that's it. and then the phone goes back in my pocket and it does not exist. So I do take pictures, but I pick one time to do it. I spend 5 minutes doing it, and once it's done, the phone goes back in my pocket. However, for this Misfits show, which to me, this was like going to church, and so my cell phone was out of sight. I took one video that you can see in the article. Click on the article. You can see the video of me and my two buddies naming Misfit songs as we wait for the curtain to drop. That was the only video I took, man. I took some video and some pictures after the show, but not during. During the show, it was a sacred time where I wanted to take that show in with my eyeballs and my ears. No earplugs in my ears. You know, normally I try to wear earplugs, but I didn't even wear earplugs. You know why? I need to hear the raw, unfiltered sound being translated by my eardrums into electric signals, which go into the musical parts of my brain. I wanted the experience to be as pure, as physically, humanly, exponential as possible. Okay. So there's that. A text comes through from my man on the inside. So Sal B is working the show. Sal B is my friend. We used to do a show called Rock and Roll Cooking with Sal B. We had Doyle on the show, and we had the singer and drummer from the new resurrected American Psycho and Famous Monsters Misfits. We did not get Jerry. Jerry did not come on the show. We tried to get him on the show. He considered it, and for whatever reason, he flaked out on us in the last minute. Go figure. Could have a number of reasons why it never went down. But the Doyle show is great. You could find it on YouTube. The other shows with the American Psycho lineup can no longer be found on my channel. So Sal was my man on the inside. I'm hoping that Sal is going to get me backstage somehow. And I'm sort of on the fence because on one hand, you know, I'm trying to like kind of like get my way over to like him to like see like, you know, how I can finagle my way behind backstage. But at the same time, I'm like, this is my first real Misfits show. I had seen Jerry Only's Misfits at Chicago House of Blues back in 2007 with Robo as the drummer. And, you know, I had a good time, man. I heard some live Misfits music, and, you know, it wasn't that great, but, you know, it was whatever. It was like, you know, that was the closest at that time that I was going to hear any of that stuff, you know, apart from Danzig and Doyle. So I'm hoping to get, so I'm like kind of on the fence, but, you know, of course, if I can get backstage, I'm going to get backstage, you know, whatever my chance is going to be. I have to, you know, try and do it. So I migrate towards the center LCD jumbotron screen between the two stages in hopes of getting backstage, but I cannot make contact with my contact. The Deftones crowd is too dense. That's right. The crowd was so dense. The Deftones were the people that were there to see the Deftones were packed so tightly together that I couldn't get over to the side that I needed to be on in order to get to Sal. So there's no longer any wiggle room to negotiate. Reluctantly, I retreat. So I head back, and this is where I meet up with Charlie, Bob, and Sandra. Bob's wife is Sandra. Bob and Charlie and I go way back to 2008, 10/25/2008. The Danzig playing the Congress Theater in Chicago. We met backstage. We met behind the Congress Theater, all waiting for Glenn to let people onto his tour bus or whatever, or to come out and sign autographs. And we just started chatting. And that's why, you know, you never know who you're going to meet when you go to a show. And that's why it's so important. You know, I like to go to shows alone. I don't go with people. I like to go by myself. And just go for the adventure. And I always end up meeting people. I meet like-minded people that are into the same shit as me, and we become instant friends. It's just like Step Brothers. What's your favorite dinosaur? What's my favorite dinosaur? Did we just become best friends? That's exactly what happens, right? So I meet up with Charlie, Bob, and Sandra. They are posted up by the guest press entrance. We hold a makeshift symposium and study the geography of our surroundings and debate where the best place will be to start the show together and where the best place will be to finish it. Because we all know, I know from past experience at Danzig shows and whatever, we know that with the sheer amount of people who are at the show, by the way, there were 84,000 people there to see the Misfits. That's right. 84 motherfucking thousand people were there at that fucking show. We know the moment that that show begins, we are going to be ripped apart. It's just going to happen. Charlie, Bob, and I first met at the Congress Theater, RIP, still RIP. It's never come back, at the end of a Danzig show in 2008. At the Danzig Legacy in 2011, we all managed to get backstage and took turns taking pictures with Glenn Danzig, Doyle, Steve Zing, and London May. I was also reminded by Bob that we ate pizza. There was pizza backstage, and I think it was Steve or somebody else was like, "Here, help yourself to pizza." So we're hanging out with Steve and London May, and Doyle is perched over in the corner, and Danzig's in the room, and we're eating fucking pizza, just like shooting the shit. And it's fucking cool, man. It was, and shout out to Devilman who hooked that up. It was Devilman who got us backstage that day, because I don't think it's this way anymore, but there was a time where, like, if you were a seventh houser and you were there at the right moment at the right time, you just follow Devilman, and like you can get backstage because Devilman's fucking man like that. So shout out to you, Maurice. I hope you are safe, well, and happy wherever you are in California, LA. So we've had a bunch of Danzig, Samhain, Misfits adventures together. Bob, Charlie, and I. Our friendship first being forged at that show. And now here we are in 2016, finally seeing the thing that we have dreamt of most of our lives. Something that we endlessly debated and probably thought could never materialize. I am glad I am with them. We are together in the moment. This is how it should be. We now all know that nothing in life is impossible if Glenn and Jerry can reunite. That was my feeling at the time, right? Okay, so again, I'm glad I'm with them, because that's what I ultimately realized. I was like, this is the way I should be spending the show. It's kind of like, where do you want to be when the world is ending? The comet is coming, it's breaking through the atmosphere. Life is over as you know it. It's like, who do you want to be? You want to be with the people that matter most. And the people that mattered most for me, at this Misfits show were my two friends who, we all met, at that Danzig show all those years ago. That was the only place to be, was with those guys. So I was very happy. And like I said, we now all know that nothing in life is impossible, because Glenn and Jerry can reunite. If Glenn and Jerry can reunite, anything can fucking happen. It is mutually agreed that we push forward diagonally stage left, Doyle side. So we're on this side, which is where Doyle is generally perched, in this quadrant, which is also by the guest passes. Rob Zombie plays next door. So Rob Zombie's doing Astro Creep, which I could care less for, right next door. We're kind of perched up, but we can see and hear the band playing, and it's, it's Rob Zombie. I don't know. I don't really know much about Rob Zombie. Rob Zombie is Rob Zombie. Is Rob Zombie. Whatever. All the other bands on the other stages finish. So every band finishes except for Rob Zombie. And then right next to Rob Zombie's stage is the Misfits stage, which is where we are. Their crowds funnel behind, sending us further forward. To call it a sea of people would be an insult. So that's what happens. Yeah, we're getting pushed forward. All the other bands have finished, and they're all gathered for the Misfits, right? 84,000 fucking people are gathered for the Misfits. We're getting pushed forward, packed tight like sardines. It's crazy. As I describe it here, to call it a sea of people would be an insult. It was an ocean. We chat with our surrounding community. You're chatting with the people on either side of you, and they're all Misfit fans. So you're having a great time talking to these people about the show that you're about to see. And it's like a community. It's your immediate community. We chat with our surrounding community. A guy named Carl, spelled with a K or a C, we're not sure which, waves a flag with Carl on it. I think he just had to, I don't remember what it was. It was just Carl. Yeah. There's a guy named Carl waving a flag with Carl on it. Some drunk asshole thinks he's Moses and starts violently surging through the ocean of people. So yeah, there was, you got your drunk guys fucking trying to part the sea like they're Moses, and everybody's, he's rough. He is rough. Everyone near him points and calls him an asshole, including myself. I called him an asshole as well. Of course, this is going to go to that. Yeah, I knew it would. I knew it would do that. Another, I'm going to, I should just share this for those of you who are fans of Nobody. Oh, no, it's not going to work. Shit. See what happens when I copy link address. This is what I had linked in the article. Listen to Nobody all day, every day. So everyone calls him an asshole. Another drunk asshole trails behind, spilling his beer. One of my biggest pet peeves. I cannot fucking stand it when fucking drunk assholes are spilling their beer everywhere. By the way, Peter mentioned above, I don't know if you're still here, Peter, or not. I never get deep dish pizza in Chicago because deep dish is not fucking pizza. Deep dish, the only pizza that's pizza is pizza that's from New York. New Jersey pizza is New York pizza. So you have New York pizza that's made in Connecticut and New Jersey, but it's still New York pizza. New York pizza is the only valid, legitimate pizza. Deep dish Chicago style pizza is fucking, it's like lasagna. It's a pizza lasagna. Okay. It tastes delicious. I like it, but it's lasagna. Who wants that? So everybody calls that guy an asshole. This other guy's spilling beer, drunk beer on everybody. It's fucking annoying as hell. To our left, a void opens up. Two behemoths clash. It's probably a territory dispute. It dissipates. We are once again left waiting. Yeah, there was just a random fight just breaks out. I was at a Danzig show at the Best Buy Theater in 2010. I turn my head to my right, and suddenly one giant dude just friggin' flat out punches another dude right in his mush, just rocks him so hard, and his nose explodes with red, just and knocks him out cold, just cold cocks this motherfucker right next to me. Danzig shows are violent as fuck, or they can be violent as fuck. I am so scared of what's going to be at this Misfits show. I'm like, can I hold, I pride myself at being able to hold my own in a mosh pit. I have a good low center of gravity. I can, I don't look like much, and I'm not much. I'm really not, but I can hold my own. I can. And I take a lot of pride in that. But, this is like me. I'm going to be testing myself. What am I made of in this Misfit show? Like, who knows what's going to happen? So yeah, these two guys are clashing. They're probably, pushing up on each other. All right, I'm going to try and share my screen here. Let's see if this works, because I want you to see this video. I don't know if this can happen. No, I guess not. I guess that's like an additional, that sucks. I thought maybe I might be able to share my screen, and I can't. That's terrible. But that's not true, because my friend, oh, here you go. Share screen. Yeah. Okay. Found it. Sorry. I'm still getting a hang of the software. Okay. I want to share this screen. Yes. Wait, let's make this big so you can see it. All right. Ready? Share my screen, right? So there it right. So right here, if I don't know if you can see my little pointer, that's Bob, that's Charlie, and that's me, right? We're the three of us, the three amigos. And this is from my Instagram. And you know what? Maybe I could just put it in. Oh no, it's going to bring me to my regular Instagram. No, we don't want that. All right, let me see what happens.
Put the lights down low and blow the door up. Future is coming. Future rise up. Oh my God. Chocolate Hack'em, even piece of blood. Is that right? Damn right. Children in need. They have no conscience. They don't change. Their name is Chicago, right? Children. Children in need. Celebrate sex. It's a new way of life. Your heart gets broke. And you have new life. You be pissing blood. Pissing blood for 7 days. Woo!
That's so great, man. All right, I'm gonna put that in the thing. I don't know if you were able to hear that or not, so I'll put that down here. So, So we're just like, we're getting giddy, man. We're just like, we're getting ready for this show. And I'm just like, in my mind, I'm like, I'm not going to take any video. So let me take some video now. Cause look at the memories, those are the memories. I'm glad I have them. I asked Bob the time until the show. It's -5 minutes. Ooh. So we were 5 minutes into our curfew time. There is a hard curfew. It can now only be a 67-minute set. So that was the bummer, man. So it's -5 minutes. It can only be a 67-minute set. The intro begins. I'm like thinking, I can like feel it as I'm like, like saying this stuff out loud. I'm like thinking, I'm like remembering what it was. The intro begins. It's the kind of music ambience you hear on a haunted Halloween CD. How perfect, how apropos. A deep, monstrous voice speaks. This was crazy. I'm going to eat you, says the voice. The air becomes kinetic over the ocean. And that's true, man. You can feel everybody is loaded like a spring trap. We kind of know what we're about to get because we've seen Death Comes Ripping from Denver, which to me, I watched it over and over again. That moment when there's smoke, there's fog, and then Jerry. But he doesn't look like Jerry. It's like the most evolved version of Jerry. It's like, Jerry talks about the evolution of his look. It's the most evolved version. He's just covered in spikes and he steps out and he's lost like 25 pounds. He's in the best shape of his fucking life at the age of, 59, 60 years old or whatever. And he hits a note on his bass. And then suddenly, without warning, you hear Dave Lombardo just go, that was terrible. The intro to Death Comes Ripping, you hear that. Whatever, is it like a double kick drum? And then suddenly Glenn and fucking Doyle, they were already there, but they jump into the air and then they fucking land, but it looks like they're just coming down from the sky. They land and launch into Death Comes Ripping. So we know we're gonna get that. We know that's fucking coming, right? And this is what I remember. So the air is kinetic with that. The air becomes kinetic over the ocean before the erupting thrall to come. That's what I wrote. Doyle's guitar. Jerry's bass. The curtain drops. Lombardo's drums. Glenn is a ferocious Wolverine. Suddenly, death comes ripping. And they launch into it. And that sea. And, I don't know. I guess I didn't mention it here. But or maybe I missed it when I was reading, I turned to my left or my right, and there's like this girl. There's a girl there who is so small and tiny, and not to be a misogynist. I am not a misogynist. I am not like, I believe girls can fuck shit up in the mosh pit too. It just was that there was this girl. She just had no business being there. She was going to get destroyed. She had a big boyfriend, this big dude, this big guy. And I turned to him and I was like, bro, keep her safe. Because I was just like, I just knew that it was going to be a storm, a melee. I just knew it was going to happen. And I just couldn't, I was honestly, I was scared for her bodily well-being, if I'm being honest and truthful. That was the truth, man. The set erupts. There is a surge of energy. Everyone fades away as we are churned by the ocean's current. That's what happened. There's so many people packed tight together in this 84,000 people. We're all so packed tight that like you can't move, and yet at the same time everything's waving. Everyone fades away as we're churned by the ocean's current. I try to weather this force of nature. The crowd tightens, shoulder to shoulder. The flank that was just watching Rob Zombie must be pushing in from the left. And that's what was happening. So the Rob Zombie people that were up by the other stage, they're now pushing. So now we're getting packed even tighter as Rob Zombie's wave is pushing towards us. The crowd tightens shoulder to shoulder. The flank that was just watching Rob Zombie must be pushing from the left. It loosens and I am sucked forward into the first of many circle pits. So all these circle pits, like little circles of hell, start just open up, right? Like violent as fuck, just people of just big fucking guys just going at it, right? In these pits. And me, I'm like a dodger. I'm like a featherweight, right? Like I'm not a melee guy. I'm a guy that's gonna I'm more of a judo guy. Like I'll be in there. I'm in the shit, but at the same time, like using your weight against you. I'm going this way. I'm ducking this way. I'm going hoo ha he, all over the place. Or I got my, you get your elbows up and you just sort of, you brace for impact and you just sort of, you just go for it. Use the low center of gravity. One of those two things. So I get sucked forward into the first of many circle pits. I jump around and I have a good time, but I don't stay. So that's what would happen. I would get into a circle pit, jump around, go crazy, but then I would leap forward, because that was what I was on this. I was like a moth drawn to the light. I think I wrote that in here. I'm like a moth drawn to the light because I'm slowly getting pulled forward towards the stage. Like I'm attracted to what I'm seeing and I need to be as close to it as possible. A rolling stone gathers no moss, I say, except for negotiating the occasional tall fellow. The closer I get, the better my view. I am a moth drawn to light. So it was actually right here when I said that. I am a moth drawn to light because every time I get closer, I'm getting that better view, and that's the reward I'm ultimately looking for, right? There are tech issues, but the band sounds great. Yeah, there were some tech issues. I don't know what was going on. There was stuff with, there's always stuff with Glenn's mic. There was stuff with Doyle's guitar. I believe there was worse problems in Denver, but I didn't notice, man. I didn't notice that shit at all. It was totally fine to me. It was good. It was fine. It was whatever. Because what I'm seeing is like, it's like, it doesn't have to be perfect to be punk rock. You know what I mean? And it's like I'm seeing the ultimate version of this band. It's the ultimate version. They've been building to this. Glenn was building to it, on a separate track as Danzig, and Jerry and Doyle were building to it in their own way, whether it was with the Christian rock Misfits or whether it was whatever. Everybody's building towards this eventual thing that is what they call the original Misfits, but I call the Misfits AD, right? So, Jerry is right. They are at the pinnacle. So that's in some radio interview. Jerry said that. And I agreed, man. I totally agreed. This was always what they would have become had they stayed together. This was the end game. And, despite the fact that when they had last played, they had played to a handful of, sweaty friggin', sweaty teenagers in the Midwest. Now they're playing for 84,000 people in Douglas Park in Chicago. It's like, it's mind-boggling. It's mind-boggling what's happening. Old timers may have seen them back in the day, but never like this. We're at the right place at the right time to see Glenn, Jerry, and Doyle. Monsters are among us. They play their songs and it inspires unity among us in the ocean, and we sing. We don't know each other. Under any other circumstances, we might not like each other. But tonight, we turn to each other and sing the lyrics like we have 1,000 times before on our iPads, YouTube, CDs, tapes, and vinyl. We put our arms around each other. We are strangers embracing in disbelief that we are seeing what we are seeing. And that was so fucking true, man. We are seeing the craziest thing. Like this is so insane. And every chance I get, I'm turning to the guy. And I did this I've been to 3 of the shows. I've seen 3 shows. I was at Jersey, Madison Square Garden, and Riot Fest. And every time I've gone to one of these shows, even with the Danzig Legacy, I was like this. But every time I've gone to one of the shows, I grab another dude by his shirt. I grab him. And I'm just like, whoa! Like we're singing into each other's faces, you know what I mean? Like, singled out the kids who want me to be, get straight as, but I still, you know what I mean? Like, it's just like attitude, like you're just in each other's faces singing in disbelief, and it's like, and everybody knows the fucking words. We know the fucking words. Bonfires burning bright, pulsating in the night. I remember on Halloween, dead cats hanging from poles. Little dead are out in droves. I remember on Halloween, brown leaf, vertigo. where skeletal life is known. I remember on Halloween. It's like you just and you're just there's the fraternity, the brotherhood and sisterhood, and it's like you lock eyes with each other. You look at each other, and you're just like, holy fuck, look at what we're seeing right now. And like even now, I'm remembering what it was like. I'm remembering how great it was. You know what I mean? And it was just a beautiful thing, man. It was a beautiful thing to just have my arms around dudes I just didn't know. And we're just all screaming as loud as we fucking can in disbelief of what we're seeing. I wrote here, some of the audience don't know the words, but that's okay. They know, whoa, go, and no. And that's all they need to join the fellowship. And that's the truth. That's what makes the Misfits songs so fucking great. You can never have seen them. It could be your first time seeing the band, but you can instantaneously sing along. All you have to do is just go, whoa, all I want is to know. You know what I mean? Or no, or go. You know what I mean? Like you could just, that's all you need to feel a part of it, to be one of us. That's the only requirement for membership is no, whoa, or go. And Mark Kennedy of Misfits Central said it best, man. He said Misfits are like a stoplight, red, yellow, and green, right? No, whoa, and go. It's a stoplight, man. Like it's great. It's fucking great. And then, okay, and this was such a bummer. And then there are the ones who frown. They don't sing. They don't whoa. They have no clue. They just know that this is a historic event and they are curious to see what all the fuss is about. They're on their phones or watching the show through them, probably thinking about all the YouTube hits they are going to get from their cell phone video that they will probably forget to upload anyway, which is true. But, some of them did upload their cell phone video and I friggin' ripped those videos and made a thing out of it. So cheers to you guys. But it's true. There are some people that are just in that crowd. And for whatever reason, despite the spectacle of what they're seeing, there are people that have died. I know it sounds so overly dramatic. It's just a fucking band. It's just the Misfits. But if you're a Misfits fan, you fucking know. You know what I mean? There are people that like succumbed to cancer or got hit by a car. They died. They never got to see this. And here you are fucking witnessing this shit. And you're just like, or like Twitter. Oh my God, they're like not even that good, and it's just like, fuck you. They are here in place of the Fiends who could not make it out, the Fiends who deserve to be here and see his history taking place. And that was what was sad, man. There were dudes who were there that had no business being there. And there were people hardworking people who probably couldn't afford the ticket to Riot Fest that wanted to be at that show and didn't fucking get a chance to be there. It's a bummer. It's a friggin' bummer. Now I am closer. We Are 138 is about to begin. A girl, this is a true fucking story. Word is my bond. This is my firsthand eyewitness account, what I saw at this show. A girl takes out an iPad. She has an iPad in a Misfits show. This shit is violent as fucking hell. She takes out an iPad out of her bag and starts recording the show. It blocks her face from the stage right in front of her. She is happy to watch it through the screen. I am not. It blocks my view. I talk to the back of her head. Hey, I would lower that if I were you. It's 1:38 and I'm about to lose my mind. She doesn't even turn around. Instead, turns slightly to the side and scoffs. A loud crescendo of chords. It's like a baseball chant. We are 138. We are 138. We are, it's like a baseball chant. Yeah, I said I'm like guessing before I silence. And then like a baseball chant, 84,000 people are all sing that we are 138. Let me take that again. Silence. And then like a baseball chant, 84,000 people all sing that we are 138. And the song rips right open. I jump in front of the iPad idiot and do exactly what I said I would. Lose my mind. From behind, I feel punches and slaps on my back. I jump up high like Air Jordan, at least in my mind, and soldier on forward into another circle pit. So I just jumped in front of this broad and I'm going crazy, losing my fucking skull. And she's punching me. She's so mad that I like cut in front of her, jump. I don't even remember how I got that. I feel like a cartoon character that I just hopped over her, and she's hitting me in the back of my head, and I'm just like, we are 138. Like I don't care. And so I jump into another circle pit. A guy who has no business crowd surfs, despite gravity's insistence otherwise. He is concerned for his well-being. I am concerned for mine. And I try to have nothing to do with it. And I generally do. When people are like crowd surfing, sometimes I do. It really depends on the situation. I don't want any business. I don't want any part of holding you up. I'm enjoying the fucking show. Fuck you. You want to crowd surf? And again, I'm a little bit of a hypocrite because if I do stage dive, I do want you to hold me, but I typically don't stage dive. At the same time, it's like, if you're going to be that asshole that doesn't be brace for impact, because there's got to be some consideration when you're stage diving. I see dudes fucking take running starts off the stage and with their Doc Marten boots like kangaroos, they come at you and bash you right in the face. This is from Iggy. This is from the Stooges right here. 16 years ago. So, I'm not really looking to get injured like that, any more injured than I would, say, from a mosh pit. So there are certain things that I will avoid to mitigate risk. And one of them is, lifting up people. Sometimes I get steered into it, though. It's unavoidable, and that's what happened here, actually. He's concerned for his well-being, the guy crowd surfing, and I'm concerned for mine. And I try to have nothing to do with it, but somehow find myself holding him up with both hands. I do have help, but still it makes me feel like Superman. So I was directly holding him by the what's it called? The nape of his back, right? So there's other people holding him up. I'm not the only one, but I feel like I'm the only one holding him up the way that I'm holding him up with my hands. I feel like Superman. He is passed on. Something drops. Delicate aviator sunglasses. I try to return them to the surfer by placing them on his face. As he floats away, he lets me know that they are not his. Paradoxically, I somehow never seem to completely run out of energy. My onboard reserves may have been depleted, but I am now tapped into the music. And I find that happens sometimes. What's up, Brew? How you doing? Sometimes what happens is when I get tapped into the music, when I'm like making a film, when I'm like on a shoot day or whatever, I find that like the art, the music, whatever it is, like it nourishes me. I tap into it and I have endless energy, oceans of it. It never ceases to amaze me how that works. And so here I am in the middle of the show, and I'm not running out of energy. I'm boundless. Nothing can stop me when I'm tapped into the music. I'm closer still. For a brief moment, my vow is almost broken. I almost take a picture, but I didn't. I didn't do it. Layers of various condensed liquids cling to my person. More liquid falls on my head. Gross. I smell it. Thank the gods it's not beer, just water. It's actually refreshing, like the cool breeze that occasionally graces us with its presence. Every once in a while, and I really appreciated this about the Prudential Center and Madison Square Garden. They had big fans that were blowing down on us, but every once in a while, because it's like an inferno. It's so fucking hot, even outdoors, indoors, wherever we are in these pits. It's just in the general audience. It's just super fucking hot. And every once in a while, there's this cold breeze that just hits me in the face, and it's super refreshing and nice. Miraculously, I have found the ability to sing without any voice. So my voice is gone. My voice leaves me. It's gone completely. I can't, like, if I try to talk, I'm talking like this. Like, you can't even hear me, but this is how I sound. Like, but yet for some way, somehow I'm able to go, whoa, like I find it's like I'm shredding my vocal cords. You know what it's like? It's like the tires on my car have popped and I'm driving, doing 70 on the highway on rims because I can't stop and I'm still fucking singing. I still somehow have this voice to sing. I have found the ability to sing without any voice. Anything less than singing would have been unacceptable. And that was so true. Anything less than singing is unacceptable in that situation. The only way to properly represent and to be the Misfits fan and to enjoy myself and express myself and experience this catharsis is to sing it from the rooftops, man. And so that's what I'm doing. I don't know about you guys, but when I'm in like a really hot place or whenever I'm like, singing really loud or it's connected to loud noises too, I get dehydration headaches. My head starts to throb. It's painful. Dehydration headaches from trying to sing as loud as possible have begun. Certain sound levels make it momentarily unbearable. I press on, hoping to squeeze every last drop of excitement from the show. We are close to the end. I can still remember this next part. I remember this so clearly in my mind. I remember taking the time to close my eyes and just savor the moment of what I was experiencing. We all sing Astro Zombies. I close my eyes in the middle of the chorus, having ascended to musical nirvana as I woe with one of my all-time favorite bands. Glenn is woeing because when the Misfits play, Glenn doesn't sing at you. He sings with you, and we sing with him. So Glenn is woeing, and I am woeing, and the crowd is woeing. We're all going, whoa! You know what I mean? And because when the Misfits play, Glenn doesn't sing at you. He sings with you, and we sing with him. And then we sing Skulls, and it is awesome. That's what I wrote. It is awesome when we sing Skulls. The end of the show has come. Last Caress is everything you could hope for. Danzig and Doyle play a game of chicken to see who is going to false start the song. The band's whole mood is jubilant and playful, except with the tech stuff. And that was true, man. Like there was this jubilant, playful feeling between them. You would see, Glenn and Jerry look at each other and smile. You would see Jerry and Doyle look at each other and smile. When they're on stage together, all that bad blood, which is still very much there. I don't think that will ever go away, but for that moment in time, those dudes are like, all of it is gone. And the only thing that matters is that they are the Misfits playing to 84,000 people, or they are the Misfits who managed to sell out Madison Square Garden. Talk about fucking validation and victory. The set ends and the band walks off for a hybrid moment. When they return, Jerry takes a moment to thank the fans with some poignant words. Glenn shares a tidbit about the origins of the Bullet EP cover, how he sent Jerry to borrow a picture of JFK from the library. I found that clip and I put it in the next episode of this show, the big 1979 A Year in Horror Business show. I found the story, so you can watch that clip. I know Eric Blair was asking about that. Glenn reminisces about how they were ahead of their time. They smile and fist bump. And yeah, they do that, man. They did that. The camaraderie is amazing to watch as the crowd picks up on it with some applause. And that's what's true, man. Like, even if it was like a little, like, sort of like, showmany to do that, like for the audience, on some level, those dudes were like, here we are getting paid $500,000 per show to fucking, play in front of 84,000 people, fist bumping, and just to think about all the money they made off merch. Holy fuck. If you don't know the name of the next song they played, then why the fuck are you reading this? I am now 25-ish feet from the stage, and it is here that I will remain. And I can see the band really fucking well. Doyle looks like the Hulk. They play Night of the Living Dead. Glenn tells the ocean that they've run out of time. And I just remember the lights being green and Doyle hunched over, like stomping around on stage like some Frankenstein monster, punishing his guitar, and hearing the guitar wail and scream in reaction to Doyle punishing it by, doing his elephants. He calls them his elephants. You could say what you want about Doyle. And again, we've talked, I mentioned AC Slade's in the pocket, keeping the rhythm for Glenn. But, nobody plays guitar like Doyle does. They don't. Nobody plays rhythm and downstrokes like that dude. And nobody can fucking hit their guitar. It's like, it's kind of showman-y. Like, does it really have any place? Sonically, musically? I don't think so. But it looks cool as fuck. You know what I mean? It's like, it adds, man. It adds a lot, and it's definitely, I don't know if you could say it adds to the Misfits sound, because when Doyle was playing with the Misfits back then, it sounded like crap too. So it's like, it just is what it is, man. It's just part of the show. It's part of the show to watch Doyle punch that guitar, So I just for all the haters out there, like, oh, Doyle's all turned all the way down. It's like, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. It's great. You love seeing fucking Doyle and fucking Jerry on stage with Glenn. And that's the amazing thing about Jerry, is that Jerry is bringing so much to the show. What's the big difference between Danzig Legacy and seeing the Misfits at Riot Fest? Fucking Jerry only, man. Jerry only makes it the Misfits. Watching him fucking fill in, he thickens the vocals for Glenn. You know what I mean? Nobody sings the songs like Glenn, and Glenn takes point and Glenn sings, but Jerry backs him up, man. Jerry is the hype man. You need Jerry. You need Jerry power sliding. You need Jerry, it's so integral to the fucking show to have Jerry there. You can't just have any. I love you, Steve. I love you, Steve Zing. Steve Zing was great for fucking Danzig, or the Danzig Legacy. But it was a Danzig Doyle set. It's not the Misfits without fucking Jerry on the bass, man. That's what you fucking need. You need him there. He adds that extra fucking element. So they play Night of the Living Dead. Glenn tells the Ocean that they've ran out of time. He asks us all, what do we think of that? And then, we don't give two fucks. We'll play more songs. And they do. And we all cheer, and they launch into She. Unlike Denver, we bear the fortune of hearing Attitude, and the Ocean churns one last time. So they end the show with Attitude. Jerry throws his bass guitar high in the air, and it breaks. Lombardo throws drumsticks. Jerry first tosses the bass headstock with Cyclops' skull into the crowd. He then thinks it over only for a moment before tossing in the whole bass afterwards. And so that's what Jerry, who is no longer, Jerry's finally done what Glenn has asked him to. He lays low. He's not fucking out there doing Jerry fits. He's waiting for the next show. You know why? Because instead of doing whatever, like 100 shows a year, or, 120 shows a year and traveling and doing all that shit, as much as he gets enjoyment out of it, he's making more money from playing one show with Glenn than he is from all those fucking Jerry Fit shows, right? All those guarantees and all that t-shirt money does not fucking compare to the glory and the lucrative nature of these singular Misfit shows. So what is Jerry doing? He's fucking working out. He's fucking probably writing songs. He's and he's building bass guitars, man. He's getting ready for the fucking show. He's running through the set every day, because Jerry is a hard fucking worker. That dude knows how to work. He busts his ass and he fucking works. He works hard. And what does he do with those basses? He smashes the shit out of them because he knows that's what everybody wants to see. And so because he makes them out of carbon graphite. They're super light. They're super easy to break. And he's got 1 million of them. So he just keeps making them. It's like what he does. It's his hobby. So he tosses in the bass. The show is over. The ocean calms and recedes, leaving the savage remains of carnage from the brutality witnessed. Again, the show is over. The ocean calms and recedes, leaving the savage remains of carnage from the brutality witnessed. I traverse the front railing to meet my inside man, Sal B. People shine the lights down to reveal, and this is crazy. And you can go on the blog here. I'll put it on. You got to scroll down to this picture because any description I give you will not do it justice. Go to the bottom of this blog right here, and you will see the craziest shit you have ever seen. Right? People shine lights down to reveal piles. This is not an exaggeration. Piles of shoes, clothing, and other various personal effects. The piles of shoes and socks are astounding. People search for their keys, wallets, and cell phones. So on the ground is just tons of shit. Water bottles, plastic cups, crushed cans, all-star Converse. Everything you can fucking imagine is on the ground. And there's just various like piles of it, right? You know what? I can actually share. Let me share the screen real quick. I'll share the screen so you can see. Why not? Okay, here you go. You want to see what I was talking about? You can't really see it that well. So right here, you see this right here? Man, this doesn't do it justice. This just was the ground was covered, and there were some layers where the ground was so much. It was so much more than what it looks in that picture. The picture doesn't do it justice, right? I joke about finding a piece of Jerry's devastated bass guitar. A friend would later tell me that he witnessed 6 people holding on to the bass headstock with the Cyclops skull. No words uttered, just 6 angry dogs with an equal claim on a bone. And man, it's just like 6 people who all want that fucking, like they're all walking away with that fucking, that piece. And it's just one singular piece. So like, you know, it's like someone's got to fucking let go. Something's got to give. So I make it to the barricade and manage to get backstage via my inside man. And, you know, I didn't have a pass and he didn't have a way. I just fucking jumped the barricade. And by that point, the show was over. So everybody's, you know, more relaxed, right? People are easing up. So I get backstage and I'm walking around. I touch Glenn's giant fucking pumpkin. So Glenn's like, do you like my big fucking pumpkins? They're really fucking cool, right? Which is like the new instantaneously quotable line, like, welcome to my book collection, Occult Roots and Nazism. Every young child should have this book. So I'm literally right this close to the giant fucking pumpkins and I touch them. They're made out of like lightweight fiberglass. It's fucking crazy to me. I say they are light and they seem to be made out of fiberglass. He is right. They are pretty fucking cool. That's what Glenn said. They're pretty fucking cool. I shake Doyle's hand and thanking him. My friend Sal introduces me to Jerry. So I see Doyle backstage. He doesn't look very friendly. I walk right by him and I just very quickly, I say, Doyle, thank you so much for a great show. And every time I've ever interacted with Doyle, and Doyle never remembers me or knows who I am at all. You know, I'm always the guy that's with Sal. You know what I mean? When we shot the episode or whatever the situation has been, whether it was Dan, I've met him 4 or 5 times, and you know, I just walk up to him and I just always shake his hand, you know, or take a picture with him. So I say, thanks Doyle for a great show. And he just, you know, nods his head. And that's, you know, that dude who, you know, he's like not a very sociable guy depending on the situation, but it's like, he's smart enough to always like know that, like, you know, if someone's like thanking him, like he'll never like be a dick and be like, fuck off. You know, he'll just be like, all right, sure, whatever, get out of my face. So it was cool. And, you know, when I shake his hands are like fucking, they're baseball gloves, man. So I put my teeny little hand in his big gargantuan hand. It's like they're like each finger is like a tree trunk. It's insane. So I shake his hand, and then Sal introduces me to Jerry. So Sal and Jerry known each other since they were kids, right? Sal and his band Sardonica used to tour with the 95 Misfits. And Sal goes way back. That's how I met Sal. That's how we started doing rock and roll cooking, was that I interviewed him for this documentary. They Came from Lodi. And I got to hang out and talk with Jerry, and he was really fucking nice. Jerry is warm, friendly, and gregarious. I am amazed that he gives me some of his time despite having just finished the show. He takes a picture and signs my Dave Lombardo set list. So as you can see right here, this is my Dave Lombardo set list, which I have framed now, and with Jerry's signature on it. And it's just really, it's a cool memento. And Sal got it for me. Sal ripped it down and handed it to me. I thought that was so fucking cool. And John Caffiero was there, and I make some small talk with him. You know, I actually was really grateful for the fact that, you know, so I don't know if any of you guys have Ramones Raw. It's like Marky Ramone's like home movies. So Marky, Johnny Ramone, and John Caffiero do a commentary. And Marky Ramone's talkative, but John is not. John's not saying shit, jack shit. And they're just going through all these Ramones home movies. And it's like, it's such a shame because like he's dead a year later, right? Like this is the end of Johnny's life. And thank God for John Caffiero having the wherewithal, the enough common sense. And you can hear it. Go listen to the soundtrack. And he starts asking questions to Johnny. He starts prompting Johnny with questions, and Johnny all of a sudden he opens up. Johnny starts talking, you know, and we're getting all these little like tidbits and, you know, antidotes that you want from Johnny, you know, because that's what you want to hear. So I was like, I really appreciated that. And I let him know that I really appreciated that because that was about the only nice thing I have to really say to him, you know. So but he was nice to me. So yeah, Peter, definitely check out Ramones Raw. I believe you can get it on Amazon. That you'll be able to hear the commentary track. That's the real gem. The home movies are nice, but the gem is the deceased Johnny Ramone talking with Marky Ramone and John Caffiero on about what they're watching. So I really enjoyed that. And you can see here's Jerry right here. There's Jerry. I really like this picture of Jerry. He kind of looks like a cartoon character. He's kind of like this hulking dude. I don't know. It's like an interesting sort of photo of him from the back. And this was just me taking a photo of the thing. And then to the right, that's Sal B. Sal, I love you, buddy. But like, you know, Sal B's thumb over Jerry and I, which was kind of annoying. But, you know, hey, I got my picture with Jerry. You know, it is what it is. All part of the experience. So that was my little collage. The night is complete. Oh, and so then I'm like hanging out. I'm just hanging out backstage. I go back. I see the trailer. Glenn is nowhere to be found. And I'm just standing around, and it's like really cool to be like backstage. The night is complete. I am glad I saw the show from the trenches. Anything else would have been less, as the trenches were the only way to take it in, which is what I said before. And so I leave Douglas Park with an experience that few in the past have had, but for some reason, optimistically, I think more will have in the future. Because as of right now, at this moment, as of Chicago at that time in 2016, that was it. There were 2 fucking shows. That's all they were going to do, which we all knew was kind of bullshit. But who knows how things would have happened? You know, there was some bad blood about t-shirt money at the end of that show. You know, something that I don't remember what the situation was. Somebody was not on the up and up about t-shirt money, and Glenn was furious. Anything could have torpedoed further shows. But you know why it never did? Because there was always so much money to be made. And that's the same principle that keeps one. I said this like I think in the first episode or something. The same principle that keeps 2 democracies from attacking each other. One country, you will never see a country that has 2 countries that have McDonald's attack each other. Why? Because of trade. Why? Because fucking capitalism, and there's just too much fucking money to be made. And Jerry and Doyle have Jerry and Glenn have too much fucking money to be made to fucking fight about bullshit, you know? And so, but at the time that I'm writing this, you know, I said I'm optimistically, I think there will be more in the future. And I think as of that writing, there were more. I think they had announced that the next set of shows. They did a bunch of shows in LA after that. And Glenn has financed 2 feature-length films with that, you know, Veronica, which I've yet to see, and God, what's the new spaghetti Western that he's making with vampires, spaghetti Western where everybody's a vampire. Charlie and I find each other, and I tell him about my backstage adventure. We get Mexican tortas from a food truck by the California Pink Line stop. It is a night that I will never forget. And now I want everyone's skull. And that's the end of my little story. That's the end of the first time seeing the band. And it was glorious, man. It was a glorious friggin', it was one of the best concert experiences of my life. Truly one of the best. I've had many shows. This and MSG was also one of the best concert experiences of my life. Peter says it's called, so Glenn's Spaghetti Vampire Western is Death Rider in the House of Vampires. Great name. I'm down. And I'm looking forward to seeing Veronica, Verotic, whatever the fuck it's called, because I know it's going to be like The Room. And you know what? I have my expectations are so exceedingly low that whatever it is can't be nearly as bad as what everybody's making it out to be. I don't know. So that's the show. At some point, I also did a review of the Madison Square Garden show similar to this, and I will review that as well, or I'll go over that one as well. That show was epic for many reasons in its own right. But I just wanted to say, if you ever have a chance to get backstage, I think if I had gotten my wish and watched that show backstage, it wouldn't have been nearly as exciting. When I see the Misfits, and this is part of the reason why I've never splurged for, thank you, CJ. Thank you for that, man. I'm glad you enjoyed that. I honestly thought that this was such a sort of a filler bullshit episode, but I've never gotten the bleacher seats for a Misfit show. I've always sprung for the most expensive ticket because in my mind, whether I have the juice to get backstage or not, and so far I've only had the juice one time, which was what I just talked about in Riot Fest. The only way to see this show, you can't be sitting in a chair and you can't be standing from the side of a stage. You need to be fucking in the trenches, in the pit, in the moshing, just like brutalized. You know what I mean? That's the only way to experience this shit, truthfully. So guys, I'm spent. I can't believe this turned into 96 minutes. This is fucking crazy. Again, quick update. If you missed my last really shitty broadcast, the new episode is coming along so much better than I could have expected it. It's no longer an episode. This is how I describe it. It's half documentary, half video podcast. That's what it is, man. And I just keep seeing these areas. And I finally gotten to a place where I'm like, I don't have to add anything else. Like I have my work cut out for me. There's still some stuff to put together. But I got everything that I want. Like the structure of it is exactly the way I want it to be. And, it deviates from the story in certain areas where like, we'll talk about like some topic related upon kind of the way that I do it here, where like, I'll just like deviate to like break something down and then come back to that. And so the way I think that's going to work though here, and this is important since there's 7 of you, here's what's important. There's going to be a sneak preview premiere in the They Came From Lodi Facebook group. I'll post a link to that Facebook group later. Just find it. They Came From Lodi, the Facebook group. Join that Facebook group because that's where we're going to host the premiere. There's 300 people in there right now. That's where we're going to see it. Then, and once the stream is done, I'm going to delete it. And then I'll do a public broadcast. And then I will decide when I'm going to archive it on YouTube. That is my plan. Okay. And then I think what I will do is I'm going to do a tip cup. But I don't know how I'm going to do the tip cup. I got to figure out the most ethical way to do that. I don't want the idea of the tip cup it's not an entry fee. I'm not asking you to tip me in order to fucking see this thing. The tip cup is, wow, Jeff, I really appreciate this content and I want to support you in your endeavors in creating more, kind of like a Patreon without doing an actual Patreon. And I'm going to buy you a cup of coffee to incentivize you to do more of this stuff in the future. I think that's what that is. And the other thing that I realized from doing this really long, crazy episode that's coming up, the 1979 episode, is that I realized how I'm going to tell they came from Lodi. I was trying to figure out what the framing device is, and I figured it out. I know what the framing device is, and you're going to see a sort of a soft intro to that framing device in this next episode. Okay, my voice is dead. It's 12:36. I need to go retire to bed. And when I wake up tomorrow, I'm going right back to editing. I return to work on Wednesday. So I have one more day of heavy editing. And like I said, when this is done, I want to make sure that there's some time to promote. I don't just want to like fucking drop it like inconsequentially. I want to promote this heavily. I want to create the event. I want to promote this fucking shit. So there's going to be some work put into the promotion of this episode to really make a splash. Thank you, Rue, for listening. Okay, guys. Good night, everybody. Be well. Be safe.